I'll hide.
And I should go on mute. Is Justin going to be? We're all off.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. We will be starting in about 5 minutes. So I'll be here. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We will be starting in about Christian. Just a second. I gotta pause. Here. Turn that down. Just a moment. You know, some repeats of myself. I know that Christian, as I mentioned on Facebook, if you guys are following, on Facebook or YouTube, Christian has a recipe that he'll be sharing with you about his drink tonight. He was very, very excited about his new creation, which is the slow clap, which you'll hear shortly. I myself prefer more of a pure drink, just 2 ingredients. See this little frozen water in the middle, and then honey-infused gin. So I'm just sipping on that. Just went and got that. It's hot here. Water's almost melted. One other thing to announce. Oh, the meeting is being recorded, and I got known that. So we're recording this for the podcast, as you guys know. And another thing that's going on is, as you guys know from this episode, that I'm going to be a father soon. We got the crib up, painting some things for the little baby's room. Things are arriving. So hopefully we'll be in time for that. On another note, next month, before the baby comes, we hope, my short film will be playing in Manhattan at the Manhattan Film Festival on June 26th at 3 p.m. So if you guys want to check that out, that's cool. Other than that, I've just been hanging out. I moved, so I'm still. If you guys pay attention to the other weeks, if you guys go back to the other weeks, you'll see not everything on my wall was there the previous weeks. So if you guys want to chat with me later, I'll be on Facebook and YouTube. You guys can guess what these things behind me are and when they came up. The other thing is too, we want to hear exactly what you guys are drinking tonight, whether it's alcoholic or not. That's cool. One other thing too. Sorry, I'm jumping around a bit, but the other thing is you guys got to stay to the end of the show tonight because Shanali is going to play one of her newest songs. So you guys got to stick around for that. We have only heard Shanali play on this show, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. So it's a special treat. So the other thing I was saying, I can't remember. Shanali had somebody made her a special drink too with white wine. So it's like everybody's doing slightly mixed drinks. Mine's the simple mixed drink with just gin and ice cubes. So if you want to be that simple, that's fine. That's cool with me. Christian was not cool with it. He said it wasn't complex enough. I had too simple of a mind for alcoholic drinks. So whatever. What can I do about that? Just simply enjoying myself. So, and I hope that you guys enjoy yourself as well and enjoy this conversation. So, we're just hanging out, just trying to think. The other thing I've been doing is painting. We got this weird paint, actually, it makes everything milky. It kind of like, there's like this, it's hard to, like clay inside the paint, and it makes it milky. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that before, but painting the room green and blue for baby boy blue for Zachary. It's going to be my kid's name. So, but anyway, you guys better get ready and start putting your hands together. Just like, slow clap like Christian wants. Do it for his drink, They're coming on real soon, okay? And let's hear it for Christian Felix.
Whoa! Wow, what an introduction, Justin. You must have been working on that for weeks. Oh my God, you are obsessed with drinks. Oh my gosh.
It was so good.
Oh
Christian,
my gosh.
Well, let me tell you, I think it was really, really good. Justin, that was fantastic.
Shanali, you know what? I think that we need to have our intern sign an NDA. All of that stuff I was talking about the drinks, that was for you. That was pre-show. And then he's coming to me telling me, and he's going to tell you about the recipe. No, I'm not. That's what we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Oh, that was just for Justin and me. Oh, I'm so sorry that look, if you feel better throughout the show, maybe then you'll feel like
No, Justin is the
not confident in
intern.
his recipe. I think that's what it comes down
No,
to.
no, Justin, I understand that you're a director in other capacities in your life. You have leadership role. You're an intern here, okay? You're an intern. So you're not going to dictate what we're going to share in the show, okay? And I'm going to come up with an intern NDA to make sure that you don't divulge what we talk about pre-show.
All
That's
right.
like our green room,
Look,
But
Justin,
anyway.
I got your back. You talked about your upcoming baby. The baby's name is Zachary. So, Chris, you need to lay off
Wow,
on him.
way to play
Um,
the sympathy card, Shanali. All of a sudden,
well,
you
we
look
need
like
to
a
start
dick.
this show. Okay,
It's not hard.
Christian's coming out of the gate hot, you guys, tonight.
What do you expect
Hot.
after Justin going after me? Give me the slow clap. Introducing me with a slow clap. Oh my God. We got to start the show.
Officially start the show together.
Let's get into it, people.
I'm out in New York City. I did not bring my cards today. So, Christian, you're going to have to hold down the fort, Justin, too. But I'm down to do this together, even though I don't have my cards.
The operative word is together, Shanali. Okay, do you want to count us off?
Yeah, ready? 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't even know.
No, we don't. We
don't even know.
No, we don't.
With Christian Felix, Shanali Bowman, we don't even know. And Justin the intern. This is the power of the internet. One more time. We don't even know.
No, we don't. We don't
even know. With Christian Felix, Shanali Bowman, and Justin the intern. We don't even know. Wow, guys. We've been doing that a full year, over a year now.
And it just gets better every time, Shanali.
It's hard. I mean, I had no idea how difficult this would be, but it's still fun. We don't even know it's still fun for us. We're on
episode 90. You said that 3 times like you're trying to convince me. I know it's fun.
We're on episode 92. 92. That's so crazy. We're going to be almost 100 soon. That's just outrageous. And for all of you watching from somewhere else, we do this monthly. So 100 is a lot. There are people that do podcasts every week. No, we got stuff to do. We can't be talking every week. I've had enough of Christian once a month.
Lord
That's it.
knows that
That's all I
Shanali
can-
wants to talk to me every week. Woo! But you're right. We got enough to do. We got a lot
We
to do.
do.
You've been doing a
And
lot yourself, haven't you?
yeah, well, I'm here in Nashville right now. My mom and dad, where I grew up. I know that you guys are in Brooklyn. I miss you all, and I'm so glad we get to do this virtually. But woo, what we got catching up. We got so much out the gate. I do want to say, because this show is actually precisely about our friendship, celebrating people we love, and activism. And so out the gate today, I want to say out the gate one more time. Can I say it? Out the gate.
You like repeating yourself when you get to Nashville. So you can do all the repeating you want. Out the gate.
My southern accent will be here. Today is the day that George Floyd was murdered a year ago today. And this past year, we have seen people from all walks of life come together on behalf of a marginalized, oppressed community, Black human beings that are assaulted and physically attacked, if not murdered, by the police, often unnecessarily, unarmed Black people. We have a long list, and you and I, all of us, have been witnessing this still continue. But I do think that this past year that we did have a new wave of humans that joined this fight.
We did, Shanali. I mean,
Mhm.
we did this year clearly was a game changer. George Floyd's family was at the White House today, which is also a game changer. He probably would not have been, they would not have been at the White House in the prior administration.
No.
And, it's wild to me because we've been talking about these things in Black Lives Matter for way more than a year, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but George Floyd has become the face, a very important face and symbol, if you will,
Mhm.
martyr, if you will, of Black Lives Matter. And it's just time has become so crazy for me in the pandemic. And I think for like all of us, is it Thursday?
Mhm.
Is it Friday? Is it this? Is it that? And when I think about like this past year, like in some ways, I'm just like, I'm like, it feels like it happened so long ago. And at the same time, it feels like, so time is just really warped to me.
It's so true.
So yeah, I'm happy that we're naming him. We're saying his name on the anniversary. And
Yep.
here is to, not giving up the fight.
Not giving up.
It is a fight, right?
And it is, and that's sort of in fact, just like in segueing to the show where we're at, right? It's the fact that we just went through such a brutal, extreme time, and we still managed to get together and find some fun
Yeah.
through all of it. But I hope, I'm just like, as we get out of this now in a new week, where last week we got told that vaccinated people don't need to wear masks by the CDC, by states, by the president. Um, I'm just hoping our short-term memory, like what have we learned? Will we remember this? Will we remember what we just went through? Will we change how we do things? Hopefully. Will we believe a pandemic exists when one does and kills over 500,000 people in the United States? And will we believe it when we hear or see Black humans being killed by the police unnecessarily? Will we commit ourselves to making sure we don't forget? So that's
a tall
that's
order.
that's just something to ignite all of us together. But we're here to talk to some great people tonight to share our friendship. Justin is one of the mainstays. He's going to be a new Papa coming up. So Papa Hall.
I know, but
Papa,
he can pop off now. I mean, look, he's just trying to kind of hang out. Like he's trying to be a mainstay on the mainstay.
But he is. I love you, Justin. Don't let him hurt your feelings.
Come on, intern. Let's go.
I'm working on it.
I love you.
Working on it. Slow clap that slow vid. Stop video out. Lord, I mean, I got to say though, we're talking about the fact that now, they're saying you don't have to wear masks and now they're leaving it up to like businesses and stuff like that. But, I honestly, so I'm wearing my mask less, but I'm still, having to bring it everywhere I basically go. But, I think back pre-pandemic and I saw like a viral video of like train performers on like the subway performing when it was like rush hour. and it was just a car that was like packed, like they used to be, just strangers just up on each other. And I looked at that video and I'm like, I can't believe I used to roll like that. I can't believe that I was just hugging and sharing. And so I say all that to say that, I've still ridden the subway occasionally in the pandemic, and I don't see the mask going anywhere for me with that. And, props to the folks pre-pandemic who were masking up, that perhaps I was like, that's such overkill. I'm like, man, I'm on that train. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm with you. I apologize to all of you. I definitely know on this show I have made fun of germaphobes, and I've actually not, they've gotten me angry because at work there were women that would make me hold the doors for them because they didn't want to touch the handles. I'm apologizing to you. Better me die than you.
Damn, Chanel, you taking this to a whole new level. This is like WDEK confession. I'm like, girl, go do some penance. Go say some Hail Marys. Dang.
But we were talking about new horizons that have happened after this moment in our lives. I am now in Nashville. I am at my great high school friend Wes Adams' home. He's got the Linus painting that I love. He's got the setup. He's a high school teacher, so I am here. I have light. I am good. I'm thankful, and I'm also thankful because this past week, Christian, I want to share this with you quickly. Justin's going to help. I have been doing some hard work throughout this pandemic that I think you would appreciate. And I don't think you're familiar with this kind of work. So I just want to talk to, everybody out there. I want to see if you guys have check this out.
Wow, Chanel, you
This
put in
is
some
me out
work.
in the outdoors. It has been hot. It has been hot in Nashville, Tennessee. And I think it's Justin, how's it going? Is it? Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, maybe it's the play button. Sort of freezing. Hmm.
It looks
Well,
like it's freezing a bit. I mean, you
this
look good froze.
okay. Well, Christian, this is me in the middle of repotting some trees, some plants,
Okay.
and I am sweating, and I am making it clear to everyone that I am working hard in the sun. And I am showcasing the sweat. And I don't know if you saw the sweat, but I
Oh,
literally
I saw
actually,
the sweat. I saw the
yeah.
sweat, Chanel.
Now that was one look that I have seen you sweat. I have seen you sweat. I have not seen you repotting trees. I've never seen that out in the wild.
Those both sounded like an accusation. Okay,
No
let me just
accusation.
it sounded like I've seen you sweat, but I haven't seen you plant trees. I planted some trees in my life.
Well, okay. Well, if that doesn't work, Justin, let's try the other one. The other one is clearly something that I don't think Christian's ever done.
You got a
I
lot of
mean,
sweat there, kind of like just like there's like a reservoir of sweat on your upper lip,
that's
just kind of
true.
hanging out, just like
That is true.
a puddle of sweat.
Oh, this is
Oh
the
my
ending
gosh,
on that
Chanel.
one. That's the ending.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're looking
wait
like
till
we're
you
having
see
tech
it.
difficulties.
That's all right. Let's try the other one. Maybe that won't come in. And if the other one doesn't, that's all right. I can tell you the story, beginning to end. Oh, did you hear that? I caught a little fly or something.
Oh, you sure it wasn't a cicada? I hear the cicadas starting to come out.
They haven't come here. They haven't come here. Justin, is that okay? Is the second one gonna work? Let's see. Here we go. Let's see. Let's try this one. Maybe it'll work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, I did this earlier in an old bag of potting soil full of worms, and I mean different colored worms, bugs, and I was not scared.
What?
Just so you know. Unfortunately, I can't show you how brave I was because I didn't have a phone, but look, I ain't scared of dirt. You shouldn't be either.
Wow. And you throw the dirt, like dropping the mic back.
I am comfortable
the soil.
with dirt.
Shanali, let me ask you a question.
Let
me ask you a question,
I'm
Shanali.
comfortable.
It looks like you played with so much dirt that it took the nail polish off your finger.
You're making fun of my nail polish.
I'm not making fun of it. I'm making observations. See, I'm not making accusations. I'm making observations. The other thing I'll say is, why weren't you wearing no gloves?
Let me just tell you, I was getting one with the earth. myself.
You know what? You might have been getting one with COVID, okay? Now, I know that we have a guest coming on our show that's crafty. And I was just back in Chicago. This is a shout out to my Aunt Mary Pat. She made this for my Christmas last year. And it's a COVID ornament. And all I'm saying is, number one, this is amazing. Thank you so much. And Chanel, you might have gotten
I like
COVID.
how you prettied that up real quick, didn't you? This is amazing.
I'm just gonna let my COVID hang out right here.
Every Christmas, you'll be reminded of COVID. That's pretty amazing.
It's crafty. It's crafty. I know you trying to be crafty.
Well, speaking of crafty, I just have this one photo I want to share because craft sounds a lot like this. And Justin, can we just show this pic real before we get to our next guest, our first guest? I just want to share. This is a photo I took in your honor because it reminded me of you. Did you see this? Now, on this last show, ladies and gentlemen, Christian came out as the first time Croc wearer. He's a new Croc wearer. And he's got one friend who supports him and many who do not. But yet, I wanted to see how you all felt about Crocs. We got a mixed bag. Lots of people love them. And lots of people just, like one of my friends saw this photo and said, brutal. This is brutal. So the Croc wall, I can't believe there's a Croc wall in Nashville, Tennessee. I have not seen this Croc wall. But look at those colors. I'm going to say the Crocs definitely got the colors going. I appreciate that. But
you know what else I appreciate? I appreciate the wording on it, this marketing. It's iconic. Calling all classics. This is the thing, people. Crocs are classic. All right, let's get real. They're essentially clogs. Okay, they're essentially plastic clogs. Clogs have been around for millennia, thousands.
So are Tevas. So are Tevas. I don't need to see your feet. I don't need that.
You don't see my feet in the Crocs. I'm telling you.
But I'm just saying Tevas are classic.
Chanel,
there's a lot of classics.
Don't assault. Chanel, don't.
Wes, do you wear Tevas?
Chanel, don't.
Oh, my friend's got his Tevas
exactly.
on right
You're
here.
about to get kicked out your house.
Okay, I'm going to get kicked out of the house. That's what he just said. Okay. So I am bringing up things that actually cause people to have some extreme views, and we'll talk about it.
We got a lot to discuss, and we have to move on to our first guest.
Yes, our first guest may have something to say about this.
That's what I was saying. We need to move on.
Look. But aren't you excited? I took a photo for you.
Thank you, Chanel. That actually does warm my heart. It shows that you actually do listen to some things I say, so thank you.
Oh, let's introduce our next guest, our first guest. We are excited. It is May. Spring is here. The weather is warm. The sun is shining. We don't wear masks anymore. I mean, sometimes we do. We have a president. I'm going to keep saying a new president that is not trying to kill us. And we have a guest who we're so excited to have. He's a comedian, producer, writer. You may have listened to his awesome podcast called Medium Popcorn. He had a comedy special that came out not too long ago, and he's here for the first time. His name is Brandon Collins. Let's hear it for Brandon. Hear it for Brandon, I just clicked him in, and he's going to be coming in. Let's see where it comes. You know how it is slow, Lincoln, when you admit somebody.
My gosh.
There he goes. Here he goes. Yes.
Right.
And then he's going to be unmuted. And hopefully the light will come on wherever he is. Brandon, we see your name, and we just need you to
look at he's showing some tricks now. He's showing some tricks. He's doing the little blush in the background. There he is. Can we hear you?
There you go. There you go, Brandon. Can you turn your mic up? Is there a way?
Yeah, sure. I can turn it up a little bit.
Okay.
More.
Yeah, we're too. Brandon, Christian and I are really loud. So those of you that have normal, like good voices, we drown you out. So just
he has a nice deep voice, though. It's comforting.
I got you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Christian never gets that compliment. Brandon.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
he usually owns his voice.
Yeah, I'm
So
normally an
that's
asshole. So that's basically, I guess that's, but welcome to our show, Brandon. We're so happy that you, how's life, my man?
It's not bad. It's not bad. I can't complain. I got to interview Lin-Manuel Miranda and the cast of In the Heights yesterday, so we're doing pretty
Woo!
good. Yeah, yeah. It's been
That's
How did
cool.
that happen?
so I'm part of AFCA, which is the African American Film Critics Association, and I joined them in June of last year, and it was the biggest blessing ever. During the height of COVID, where
Wow.
they allow me to get like screener access for new movies coming out, but then also I get to interview celebrities. So my first interview with them was Samuel L. Jackson and his wife, and then it just got better
Hello.
from there. And so
Oh my
That's so
God.
amazing. And so can you tell us a little bit about the organization?
sure, it's the biggest organization of Black critics in the world. There's several hundred members. It's ran by Gil Robertson, who's a fantastic president, and it's just empowering, man. Like when we got to have the cast in the Heights yesterday, we had some Afro Latina critics on the panel, and they were just talking about the representation. And my wife is Puerto Rican, so we both hold like a very special place for that show in our hearts. And so it was like, wow, that like this is a big deal. This is like awesome that like not only do we have these movies to represent these diverse backgrounds, but we also have a group that gets it, right? That like is going to be able to tell the honest truth about these movies versus white critics that maybe don't understand the cultural significance or other themes that just go over their heads,
Yeah. So
Ooh,
your wife is Puerto Rican. Where did you grow up? How do you culturally identify?
So I'm Black and Irish. The only reason,
Homie, what's up, my man? Me too. Damn.
yeah.
Yes.
I did a 23andMe and found 19% Irish. I'm like, oh, that makes sense for Collins as my last name. So that might
Right.
be. But I'm originally from Ann Arbor, Michigan. But I've been in New York over 17 years now. And that's where I met my wife because we didn't have no Puerto Ricans in Michigan.
I was born in Lansing, Michigan.
Oh,
I
snap.
lived, yes, and my parents got there, through graduate work, but it was the academics and then they left. But I think they didn't see many people that looked like them either.
Nope. Ann Arbor was it was black and white, but majority white. And
Mhm.
Ann Arbor, Michigan, in case you need like an idea of what kind of town this is, think about Woodsboro from the Scream movies. That's essentially Ann Arbor. That's how I've always identified it. I'm like, oh yeah, like one of these white boys would definitely kill a bunch of us. Just put on a mask and go to town.
Christian and I both listened to Medium Popcorn.
Oh no.
That is an awesome podcast. No, it just felt like you were our family. That's what we felt. It really, first of all, you both have different, it's very much like Christian and I. We have different opinions on things. We also agree.
That's an understatement. Yeah.
We talk about personal things within the world of the arts and culture and pop culture. And you guys did that. But you guys, you really know film. I'm going to say that about you, Brandon.
I mean, I grew up watching movies. I was the only child, single mother, and so movies were my escape, right? Like I remember like either on Sundays I would go to a movie with my mom or she would drop me off at the mall and I would see a movie. And so I just have seen such a wide variety of movies and I have weird trivia in my head. So yeah, I mean it comes in handy for the podcast, but
so how did you come up with that idea? Because now that I'm learning that you're this critic who's talking to some pretty major contributors to culture and art, and you have the conceit of the show. So the podcast is called Medium Popcorn, and essentially you talk about films, but you're sharing spoilers, right? Like, so the episode that I listened to, you kind of just like jumped right in, like just started just like, there was like, I wasn't necessarily catching up on the references of this, but then all of a sudden I am. And then to Shanali's point, what I really liked is that, yeah, you guys are like really funny, but then all of a sudden it like took a left turn, got deeply personal and serious. Like in the reference I'm talking to is the halfway house and about that whole systemic way that our society operates that I think people just have no idea about. And I was like, and all that got dropped and like, you know, and then you're like, oh, we got to talk about the movie again. And like, you're back. So just curious, like, how did this kind of come about? And
Absolutely. So I initially started Medium Popcorn as a solo show. It was just me and a microphone talking about movie news and the recent stuff I watched. And my wife said, it kind of sounds like you're just a rambling person that likes movies. So maybe figure something else out. And my friend Justin and I, we've known each other for at least 12 years or so. We did a sketch comedy group together, you know, when I was in college. And he and I could talk about anything. And we both love movies. So I was like, hey, man, why don't you like do this podcast with me? And then we were thinking about a theme song. And if you haven't heard the Medium Popcorn theme song,
Oh, it's so good.
we parodied Easy Lover, and we keep being told by everyone that's the best theme song ever.
It is the first theme song that I thought might be better than ours. That was the first time.
well, honestly, I listened to it. I was so inspired. I actually was trying to like really coach Shanali to like, you know, just really let's try our hardest with our song tonight. And part of it was like just being so inspired. So yeah, if for any reason you check out Medium Power, check it out for the theme. Check it out for the theme song.
I think I think one of my favorite moments of the year so far is Earth, Wind and Fire and the Isley Brothers did the verses. And I think the second to last song they did Easy Lover. And in the chat, I was in the Versus app, and in the chat, people started saying Media Popcorn. I was like, yes, we made it.
That is good. Wow.
So in addition to the podcast, in addition to this, the critic, and where can we find your writing, or are these interviews? Are they taped or captured?
Everything's on our YouTube page, but you can find all things Medium Popcorn at mediumpopcorn.com.
And what about the stuff that you did with In the Heights and the cast? And
yeah, that's all on the Medium Popcorn YouTube page because
awesome.
We have all the celebrity interviews. So like my interviews with Jamie Foxx and Tessa Thompson.
Oh my gosh,
my queen. There's a bunch of interviews on there that you can check out.
Oh,
That's so cool. And then in terms of, I saw that you just put out your stand-up special or one-man show. I like calling them both because I feel like for the most part, people think stand-up's just one-liners and jokes, and I feel like it gives it some reverence to call it a one-man show also, because then I feel like there's layers and textures and complexities, and maybe there's, you know, more. I feel like maybe I'm going to expect more, but that's fun. So I saw that you did call it a one-man show in somewhere when I read about it.
I did that because we had to film it during COVID, so no audience. And
oh my gosh,
this theater in the Lower East Side, they got a grant, and you know, one of the producers reached out to me and said, "Hey, like, you know, I know you do a lot of events, and I know you perform. Would you be interested?" And I said, "You know what? Let me put something down on film, just see what it's like. You know, I can always redo it with the audience later on." And it was a really good experience for me, just kind of getting all this material out, allowing myself to be vulnerable and personal without the fear of, you know, an audience not being receptive. Because I do get really personal with family stuff. And it has jokes in it, but, you know, I allow myself to be very vulnerable, which you probably wouldn't see a traditional stand-up show. So that's why I call it a one-man show versus my stand-up special.
And what's it called?
It's called It's Not Gonna Work Out. Because I grew up very pessimistic. I was kind of like the Black Charlie Brown, like just like I'm never gonna get the girl, I'm never gonna be able to succeed in life. And my friends are like, "What's wrong with you?" I don't know.
Do you think that you would perform it in front of a live audience again, or is it just kind of one and done? Do you feel like?
I think there's some material I definitely would still use. So like I have like a whole bit about finding out about my father and his whole life and everything. And I've since recently connected with my half sister and some of my aunts and stuff like that. And so I have a lot of material to add on to that story because it kind of like ends like on like a question mark in a way. And so now I have like the additional story for that. So if there's anything I'm going to do for like a stand-up special or another one-man show, it would be extending that story.
Now, do you have any live shows coming up? Are you jumping back into the live space yet?
I am. I have my Drunk Black History show in New York City on Saturday, June 19th. We're celebrating Juneteenth.
Wow.
Our third year in a row. And it's going to be a hybrid. So we're having it at the Bell House in Brooklyn, but it will be live streamed because over the past year, our audience has expanded all around the globe. And so we want to
That's
still
awesome.
allow people to be able to join from the safety of their homes and everything. And it's going to be such a dynamite show. I mean, the lineup we have, it's incredible. And some of the things we're cooking up and like thinking about like throwing out at the audience, I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Wow.
That's so fantastic. Everyone, I'm going to repeat that. Drunk Black History on Juneteenth, live at the Bell House. That's live streamed across the globe.
And
That
can you
sounds
get
so
tickets?
great.
You get tickets now?
Yep, people can get tickets at drunkblackhistory.com.
Yeah.
I bought all these .coms over COVID. I went on GoDaddy and I just bought them all.
Brandon, you're changing the world. Like, I'm just going to say these things that seem maybe perhaps small in some ways, especially when we talk about showbiz, everybody has their eyes on some prize. And most people are never satisfied anyway. But to have a Drunk Black History series anyway is just so fantastic. So fantastic. And then the medium popcorn, because Justin's also African American too, right?
Yes.
Right. And yeah. So, I mean, that alone, setting up a space for your voices to just shine and then create that room for us to hear voices that we don't hear that respond to movies, that talk about history in general, and also make us all laugh at the same time. Awesome. Thank you for
Totally awesome. And you mentioned something about representation, and I grew up watching, and I talked to Shanali about this, and I'll be brief, but I grew up watching, I'm biracial. I actually have like a big Irish family. And I grew up watching White Christmas, that popular holiday film.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like just this last year that I watched it again, just with a totally different kind of perspective. And I was like, this is like white Christmas. And I looked at it like through that lens. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of this film, there is a musical number devoted to celebrating a minstrel performer. And the day, like it says, Ode to Minstrel, like Georgie Primrose. And I never, for all of these years, I was just like, oh, this is like the holiday cheer. And then all of a sudden I see this and I start to do some research. And anywho, I just go down this rabbit hole of representation and like why things look the way they the way they did, and bringing a critical lens to it. And all of a sudden there's this huge, strong reaction to like, we can't talk about, like we can't criticize that stuff. So, I mean, I just, the stuff, the work that you're doing is, it's important stuff.
I appreciate it. And we do like we haven't done White Christmas yet, but when we do revisit old movies like that, we call that stuff out. We call like we watch The Christmas Story. And for those who don't know, white people love that movie for some reason. TNT always plays it. And I'm like, this movie's hella abusive. Like this family's messed up. They're on the bridge of divorcing. This kid Ralph is out of his goddamn mind. He needs counseling. Like I was like, there's so many problems, and people are like, this is the best Christmas movie ever. I'm like, oh, y'all came from broken homes. Like I had a broken home, but at least like I had like a happy Christmas. Like I didn't worry about my mom putting stuff in my mouth.
So true. Oh man. Well, what about right now? Is there something besides In the Heights, which we all should see? I assume. I'm excited about seeing it. Is there another film right now? Because we've all been at home, cooped up, and we're all just like wanting to see something new and waiting to hear something. What do you think we should see?
I mean, I'm seeing A Quiet Place on Friday.
Yes, I was just gonna say that.
And the reason why I am seeing that for the first movie in theaters, because initially I thought it was gonna be Fast 9. I was like, oh, there's no way I'm not seeing that in the theater. But I remember A Quiet Place, the first one, being in the theater, and it's very rare when everyone shuts the hell up. And like from scene one, everyone was dead quiet, and it was the most intense movie going experience besides Gravity and IMAX that I ever been a part of. And I was like, I want to try to see if this is similar to that, because that was an exhilarating movie going experience. And also, since the last movie I saw in the theater was Sonic the Hedgehog, I need to rectify this. So if this is anything close to that,
you went out like that, man. Oh my god!
No one knew.
In the theater.
To be fair, it wasn't the worst movie, but it was just like when I think about it, I got sad. I'm like, oh man, the last movie I saw was Sonic.
Oh man. All right. So A Quiet Place. You know what theater you're going to see it at?
I'm seeing it at Alamo Draft House because
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
they're
I'm
one of
thinking
the
about doing it at the Nighthawk myself.
they're one of the few theaters that tell people like no phones, shut the hell up. Like
yeah.
I have a short, I get distracted very easily, and so if someone has their phone out, if someone's whispering, like I hear it, and
Oh
that
God.
like
Yeah.
it just
So
takes
you
me out
don't
of it.
appreciate any of like the kind of heckling banter, like oh hell no, she's gonna walk down that cornfield. Oh my god.
Some movies I do like. I love seeing It with a bunch of black people. It Part One especially because when the clown had like the, the little kid, he's chasing him as the leper, and then the kid turns around, he's got the
Yep.
upside down triangle balloon.
Yep.
This one brother in front of me was like, "Oh hell no, nigga, no!" Like he was just so scared. I'm like, and he was a big dude too. I'm like, oh, so he's scared of this clown thing. This is awesome.
I did the same. Bride of Chucky. That was the
Mm.
best. Everyone's talking. It was awesome.
I
So
saw.
that's
I don't think it was called Girl with the Pearl Earring, but it was that film that Eddie Redmayne made where he was playing a trans.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the name of the film? Anybody?
I know what you're talking
Anyway,
about.
I was
Alicia
watching
Vikander.
this movie, and it wasn't even like a largely black audience, but there was this old black man with his wife sitting in like the front row. And it was when Eddie Redmayne's character decided to wear like a nightie, like a nightgown instead of like men PJs, right? And as he and like Eddie said something like, "I'm gonna stay in them tonight" or something like that. And this old black dude said, "Oh hell no!" Like he got so upset about it. It's just like,
That movie is called The Danish Girl, I believe.
that's
The
the Danish Girl.
Girl.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank
The
you.
film critic saved us. Thank you.
I didn't
Thank
actually
you
see
so-
it, which is funny. But
It's a really good film. It's
Okay.
a
It was
beautiful, beautiful film. And I was at another holiday party, and it really just tells the story of this trans person kind of coming into themselves, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, "Oh, what movie are you guys going to go see?" "Oh, we're going to go see The Danish Girl." And this guy at this cocktail party, this older white dude, was just like, "Oh, I don't like horror movies." Something like that. I was like, it's not
I
a
don't think.
horror movie. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm like, no, it's the movie about. He's like, yeah, I don't.
okay.
You know what? And I don't do you. That's what I'd say.
Okay, Shania, if I had to live that moment again, that's what I'll say. Brandon, before we let you go, what is the one thing that you're looking forward to this summer? Now that the world's opening back up, in addition to seeing The Quiet Place, what's one thing that you're looking forward to?
One thing I'm looking forward to is going back to the beaches of Puerto Rico. Like I've been missing them for a year and a half, and I cannot wait to go back.
That sounds awesome. I've done that before, and I agree with you. Amazing beaches.
It's amazing. That place is amazing.
I
Wow.
haven't done that. I'm not as cool as you guys, but I still agree with you, Brandon. I still
Well,
agree.
Brandon, thank you. Thank you for being with us. And we can't wait till Drunk Black History on Juneteenth. Everyone should get their tickets. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, my
I'm
friend.
excited.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you, sir.
See you again
See you.
soon.
Take care, y'all.
Bye.
Okay, peace.
Bye.
Wow, Shania, inspiring.
That's cool. He had to do that interview with Lin-Manuel Miranda. My nieces will flip. I mean,
Yep.
they still
And
love it. I
Samuel
mean,
L. and his
what's
wife
not-
and all that. I mean, that's just incredible.
yeah, that is so cool. And the podcast, Medium Popcorn, is awesome. So check that out, everybody. Thank you, Brandon. I just want to catch up with you real quick because
Yeah.
I know you had a serious happening to you
Oh,
in the
man.
past few days, and
Nelly.
I wasn't able to catch up with you on that.
Wow. The world, the springtime is happening. It's becoming summertime. And I've been cooped up a lot just on the Zoom, doing this, doing that. Sunday, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna roll out. I'm gonna go on a bike ride. And it was one of those bike rides where I didn't even have like a specific destination. I was just trying to kind of take that Deepak Chopra, like, just do whatever you be carefree. I was wearing these new athletic shorts that I had that I'm not happy about. I'm not happy that I bought them. Partially because unlike Crocs, they were called Chubbies. So don't even ask me how I got these. Gentlemen, if
It's too
you are
easy. It's
thinking
too
about
easy.
chubbies. It's it's too no. What are you talking about? Too easy. This is my story. Anywho, I was wearing these shorts, and I had my phone, my iPhone in my front pocket, and I had my maps going. I was deciding I was going to bike up to Central Park from Brooklyn, and I make it past the Lower East Side. I make it past the UN building. I'm riding up the East Side. It's a gorgeous day. I'm having my phone, listening. I'm going for it. Turn on 50th Street. I reach down in my pocket. No iPhone.
Ooh.
Now, this part of the story I'm not proud about, of just how much of just how I am just so attached to this little stupid piece of technology.
The chubbies were too big for your phone. That's
Actually, the pocket was too small. It's an oxymoron. You would think chubbies would be too big. It was too freaking small. So I'm so pissed about it. And I don't know what to do. I'm just like, oh my God, I need this phone. I need this phone. I have an Apple Watch. I'm like trying to find, you can't find the phone on this. I'm like, what use is this thing? So I race down to the Apple store. I get an appointment. I'm mad at myself for freaking out about how much I'm freaking out about this stupid phone. But I go to the computer and I find my iPhone, and it's beeping back at 50th Street and First Avenue. I biked all the way down to 14th Street, 9th Avenue. So I go to the Apple people. I say, it's still blinking. I'm going to go back. And they were like, okay. Like, they were like kind of like nice, but they were like, okay, we'll keep your appointment. I go back up there. I like go right to where it's beeping. I like look around. I go into the restaurant that's right there. I'm like, did you guys find this iPhone? They said no. I asked an Amazon delivery guy, like, did you find an iPhone? He thought I was accusing him of taking it. He's like, this is not your phone. I was like, okay, it's no word. Okay.
Yeah.
And I race back down to the Apple store, and I'm about to drop about $800 on a phone because I didn't insure it and this, that. And the sales associate, Angela from Apple Store,
Angela,
14th
hi,
Street,
Angela.
check her out. Angela, you were amazing. She goes, well, why don't you try to call it? I said, why didn't I think of that? What the hell's wrong with me? Oh my God, I was about to buy a whole new phone. I've been trying to call my old one. I mean, I'm not proud of the story.
I don't have to say anything.
And
it is your
someone
story.
picked up. Someone picked up. Thank you. Someone picked up. And I got the iPhone. I had to go all the way back up. By the time I was done, and I didn't even make it to Central Park. That entire bike ride was 30 miles.
Woo!
So the moral of the story is, I guess I'm going to try not to be so attached to the phone.
And the moral is, if you really feel like you don't want to work out and don't want to ride your bike, just wear some chubbies with your phone in the pocket and go on the bike a few blocks and lose your phone, and then you get a 30-mile ride out of it.
I'm so done with you. There was nothing about that part of the story that indicated I didn't want to work out. The moral of the story is don't wear chubbies. All right, I think we're ready for the next guest.
I'm so happy you shared with us that the shorts, they were called athletic shorts. I love that. I've never heard anybody call their shorts athletic shorts. No, I've never heard that. It's been a long time. And then you called them athletic shorts, and then you told us they were chubbies. You're a good man, Christian. You're a good man.
Wow. Thanks for recapturing.
You guys know we love each other. That story is just too, woo, I didn't have to say a word, but I did. So there's that. But we have a great guest that's about to join us, and I am so excited. I haven't seen her in a long time, and I love her. I love her so much, and she used to live here in New York. She's a writer, a producer, a stand-up comedian, an actress, a crafty human being. I use my hands because I love crafts too. And she's got her own podcast that just started this month. And here she is. Her name is Sara Schaefer. Let's hear it for Sara. Christian, put your hands together. Do this. Clap, clap, clap. Clap.
No,
I
she
hear.
gets a big clap. She gets a big clap. A big clap. Sarah calling in. What's up?
Sarah gets the dance.
Hello.
Hello. Oh my God, I love it. You know what? You live in LA, and
Yes.
I love. Can I just tell you, you make us feel like you live in New York by the virtue of where you're doing your Zoom.
Yeah, I don't
That's amazing.
have, like most people in LA, I don't have my own recording studio on property,
Exactly.
because that
On
is something you
property.
get when you move here. You get your own recording studio. Um, no, I've been doing my podcasting in this closet, and
It's so cool.
yeah.
You're inspiring me. I've been trying to think about putting my desk in my closet to get more
Well, I
privacy, you
this
know.
little my husband and I designed and made this little fold down desk.
Uh-oh.
Show it to you.
Let me see.
Oh my
my
God.
This folds down, the not this, but like the wood part folds down
Yes. It's
Oh, so you could
like a
just
against
little
the
pull it
wall.
out.
Murphy bed. Oh my God.
Ah, it is. It's
So
like a
cool.
Murphy desk.
It's like a Murphy. Oh my God. That's the name. Murphy desk. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
How
They
do
sell these on like Etsy and stuff, and my husband saw it and was like, "Oh, I could make that." You know, when people do that, they're like, "Oh, I could make that," and then they never do. Well, he did it.
Yes. Wow. So wait, he's also crafty like you.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, he's an artist too, right?
Yeah, Scott, my husband, is a director, but he's also very good at art and very like, we're both the type of people where we like to solve problems, you know, with like our lives. Like, okay, how could we make this space like more to our liking? And we look
Oh,
at it and go, we could make a little shelf that goes here that's functional and has this or whatever. And so we work on that stuff
And
together.
do you
that's
typically do you
that's
typically
so cool.
agree pretty quickly? Like, yeah, this needs a Murphy desk. Okay.
If it's like, usually it's better if we're focused, if one, we have more disagreements when it's a shared space. When it's like, I need this for me, then we can like
That's
really
amazing.
focus in, or he needs it for him. But when it's something that we both are sharing, it's more, there's a lot more arguing. Because
I
one
have this.
person is in charge and has final say when it's like, oh, this is my closet, my area, you know, I get to
Yeah,
choose. No.
same,
So
same Z's here. Exactly with Jasper. He's really good about. Okay, he made me a shoe shelf. He made me a record shelf. Precise, perfect. I brought a new lamp in that I love. He definitely doesn't like it. I said, well, give it a few weeks. It's just a new thing in our space. And 2 weeks later, he's like, I really don't like it. I'm like, I like it.
wow. Okay, that's the way things go in that household. Speaking of arguing, Shanali shared a link of the short little bit that you did back in, I think it posted on YouTube and a stand-up in like 2019. And
Mhm.
it was really, really funny. You were talking about conspiracy theorists. You talked
Mhm.
about your the way that you scream, I think. And
Yeah.
Oh my God, I
something,
love it so much.
something that really struck me is that like you literally could do that same bit like today,
Yeah.
and all the things that you talked about still like hit so like real.
Yeah, the conspiracy thing joke, I expected to not last, and then it really took on a whole new meaning and like even more relevant than I ever imagined. Like to the point where I was watching this documentary series about Q, the
Uh,
Seen
one
it.
that just truly incredible. Like I thought it was going to make me sad. I mean, it did make me sad, but like
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be all about these like pathetic people who fell for Q and like I lost my mother, you know. But it was more about 8chan and like how it all became this thing, and like in real time, you know, you're seeing it all take place. But there was this
Yeah.
whole episode about the cicadas, and I was like in my joke, I say they like arose like
You
17
did!
cicadas, and I was like,
Yeah, you did.
this is and and I was like, Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet, and like I was like, am I Q? I was like, the joke was too real, and like people, when I was first doing the joke, I mean, people loved it, and there would always be somebody who would come up and be like, I have an Uncle Dennis, and
Yeah. Literally, yes.
too
Well, I
real.
mean, but the thing is that like like back then, and I think when we were growing up and stuff like that, because media was more centralized and all these things, yeah, we did have that crazy aunt or uncle. But when you were telling this story, and I think like the conspiracies that I'm just encountering a lot more personally are ones related more to like COVID and kind of like where COVID came from. And, you know, the last time, I mean, not to throw him under the bus, but, you know, I saw my dad when I was back in Chicago, and, you know, he started getting a little little Uncle Dennis-y with the COVID.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's like, yeah, well, you know, Dr. Fauci and like population control. I was like, well, you got vaccinated, right, Dad? Okay, we're good. But I guess it just is like, yeah, it just hit me and struck me like, oh my God, you literally did not have to change anything about that whole.
Yeah.
The whole bit, the whole thing.
It you know, people like to go, well, both sides fall for it. It's like, yeah, but I think they've shown that like if you are predispositioned to certain beliefs, then certain, you know, you might also be predispositioned to fall for disinformation about it. But one thing I've noticed is, you know, it is easy to fall for things on the internet as they get spread around. Like I saw this a lot during the election. People would post an infographic that was just, you know, no source, you know, just like a thing that was very like, and it just fit the narrative that they wanted it to be. And I did see that from some of my friends. And, you know, do you want to be the one that goes, hey, actually, just so you know, like that's actually not 100% true, and I know. And then like it's so scary to watch that happen. It's very easy to fall for things. And so if you're already somebody who might be a little less sophisticated with media, it's gonna be even harder.
Totally.
And then I faced even like the opposite of that, right? Like sharing something. There was a man, he was a reporter. He did the white power sign on MSNBC in a room near Nancy Pelosi. It was right after January 6th. It was really scary. And everyone, it was like on TV, everyone could see it. So I posted and I was like, does anyone know who this is? Blah, blah, blah. And then it's so crazy to see how many people are like, well, I think that's a fake video. And I was like, well, you could just go watch it. You know, like just seeing how
now
many.
We're all questioning everything. We don't know how to tell what's real. And so it's very easy to go, oh, well, that's fake. And it's like, oh, but that actually wasn't. Like, that one was real.
Right.
That was real. That was real. And yeah, it's like just
that's what I start the joke with. Remember truth? Remember when we knew it was real? Like, everything is debatable now, where it's like, and that has made me feel in the pandemic really crazy. Like it's pushed my limits of my patience. And I feel, and so many people feel insane, where I'm like, I'm living in a different reality than other people.
Well, that's why when you did it, I was like, wait, she had no idea what was going to happen.
No.
Because you say we're losing our grip with reality, and now we're at a place where like, what is reality? What have we just endured?
Yeah.
What just happened?
Yeah, because I related to what you were saying back then, and I was like, if I was sitting in the audience, I would be able to relate to what you're saying. Like, yeah, I feel like I'm losing my mind. I don't like the fact that we have like Trump who's president, but then to Shonali's point, like looking at it now, I'm like, oh, we had like.
We didn't even know.
No idea. We didn't even know.
How deep it goes. I mean,
which I'm going to say that I think one of the ways, since you are a crafty person, you've coped. And it's something that I connected with a lot, which is like, I always loved Sara, but I've been watching her on Instagram do the coolest thing, which is like it really connected here. One is making things with your hands that are art, that aren't, it isn't a stand-up routine. It's physically making art that we can see, visual art. And she has been creating a comedy club, a miniature comedy club with her hands in the tiniest, it's like a 1 inch,
1 inch scale.
1 inch scale. Everything is
Yeah.
1 inch
I
scale.
should here. You know what? I'll be right back. I'll bring. I'm not. I can't bring the whole thing because it's
Oh
too
my God, I
hard to move.
cannot
But I'll
wait. This
bring
is
you like
so
a
crazy.
part of it. Hold on. I'll be right
This
back.
is so amazing.
Oh my
So
God.
this,
Like I am inspired,
this,
but I'm also just like,
you,
how
she's
can you
amazing.
do that? Like,
It's
how do
amazing.
you do that?
It's called Ha Ha Hole.
Right.
Everybody, the comedy club is called Ha Ha Hole.
I love how Shonali is
She,
so serious. It's
it's
called Ha Ha Hole.
so
You were
good.
so
It's
serious. It was like your
it's
PSA and oh, here it
it's so,
comes.
oh my
Here it
God,
comes.
watch. Oh my God, watch this. It's just so crazy cool.
Okay,
Okay,
so I couldn't really bring much because when you
move it.
I tried because I was like setting it up to showcase it to people, and I had to use like a little museum putty to stick things down. So I'm bringing you what was loose just now. So
Okay,
this is the
so
coffee table from the green room.
oh my God, this,
This is how small we're talking, and this
look
is
at
the
that! Look at the lap.
mole.
Is that a laptop?
It's a
Oh,
moleskin.
a
I made.
moleskin.
I didn't. Oh, it fell. Hold on.
Oh my God!
I,
It's like, do you see that? It's like literally. Oh,
it's
she
really
made that.
small. And here's the set list
Oh my God! I
and the
just,
notes. And
it's
then
so
here's a
insane.
menu. I made this.
Oh
You
my
like the
God!
shiny edge? I love it.
She
Um,
made
yeah,
headshots.
yeah. Headshots for the wall. I made it. I
She
made
made
most of it by hand.
a
Um,
cell phone, a
How do you
couch that
do it? I
looks
mean,
amazing.
do you use like toothpicks or like chopsticks or something?
okay,
Like,
so I do use a lot of toothpicks for like cleaning up glue and stuff. But I when you're working in miniature, you use a lot of really thin wood called basswood or balsa wood, which is soft and easy to cut. And they make like strips of it, and you can build pretty much anything you want. I made a mini fridge with like a little working blue light in it. Like I really went to town.
She did the
I made
neon. It looks like a
Yeah, I
neon
made a
sign.
I
sofa.
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, it really like I made the neon sign. Yeah, so I like learned. I've been a lifelong miniature collector. I had a dollhouse growing up, but I've never made my own miniatures, and I really got into it with this project because I'm building my own dollhouse right now, and that's like a long-term project. That's going to take a really long time. So
Sarah, just
I did the mini comedy club as a side project. It took like a month of working on it nonstop, like 12 hours a day. Like it was so much work.
oh my God.
But it was so worthwhile, and it put me into like a Zen. I hate
Yep.
such a white. Like, it made me Zen. I'm
But it's,
sorry,
I
but
totally get it.
it put me into a flow, a
Yep.
creative flow,
Yes.
a sense of peace and being in the moment, and also made me really think differently and more deeply about my creative work, about my place in comedy, and like
Hmm.
Mhm.
is open. I just recommend getting into something creative with
Yes.
your hands that you make, because while you're doing this work, and I used to do like a lot of, I still do, but like taking a break now for my miniature obsession, but I've had hobbies like this my whole life. Pandemic really set it off into a whole nother stratosphere. But
Mm-hmm.
um, I do a lot of cross stitch and embroidery, and that's very
That's what
repetitive.
I've been doing is embroidery, and
Yeah,
I had never done it.
yeah, very repetitive, very soothing motion, but I could do that in front of the TV. Well, the miniature
Hmm.
stuff wasn't in front of the TV, and I got really focused on the work, and that made me go deeper creatively, I think, than just mindlessly
Hmm.
doing something in front of the TV. Although doing something like that embroidery in front of the TV is good too. It just
Yeah.
was very like I don't know, transformative. Like I really recommend finding something that
That's so cool.
you know you can really get lost in a little, like almost where you're worried about yourself.
Yeah, you're
You know,
just
where you're
so.
like,
Go right up to the threshold.
I'm neglecting everything else in my life. I've really let everyone down.
Well, I
I have
love
a
that you've been.
practical question. I have a practical question
Oh.
about the miniature. How do you like? So I admire it. Things that are that tiny would
Yeah.
really, I just
It
would
can be
require a ton of
frustrating. Like
yeah,
rage
yeah,
can boil, you know,
yeah,
like you're trying to like do something really tricky with your hands, and
yeah.
you know, it's something like the little mini fridge I made took me like 3 days of just experimenting and it falling apart again, and at some point you're like, I just should just start over, but then you get stubborn and you're like, I'm gonna fucking do this, and you know, like I've used like 12 types of glue on it, you know. It's like,
Oh my God.
you know, there's for certain things there's tutorials, and
Right.
which always make it look a lot easier than it is. And my standards are really high in terms of like, I want it to look real. Like, I don't want you
It
going,
looks real.
oh, look, like, it's so cute. No, I want you to be like, I thought that was real. And so
It looks real.
I mean, I feel the same way. Like when I'm just putting together like an IKEA desk, you know what I'm saying? Like I want it to look like bespoke and real. And if it's a little wobbly, I'm like, I can't imagine doing something that tiny. My question is, once it's all made, what is the maintenance like? Like, do you have like I can't, like if you used a vacuum, that shit would get like,
I know.
like
I had it. Well, I did have to like clean up the floors of it because I would have sawdust and stuff, and I would use like a paintbrush to like wipe it, you know, or a microfiber cloth, and like, but yeah, you have to like dusting is difficult in the small.
I just imagine you with like a little like honey, I'm dusting. I'll be there. Like you're just like...
Well, I've gone so deep into this now. I'm like, you know, I'm wanting to buy, you know, you want to take it to the next level. Like I want a table saw. Like it's not 1-inch scale, but it's a table saw that's like this big that you can just run your wood through to get those perfect cuts. You know? Like I want that. They have a mini pottery wheel that you do like pottery on. I want it all. I'm so deep now. I'll never go back. It's just
I love it.
Yeah.
You know, well, I was just saying when I introduced everybody to you also starting a new podcast, it's called the Schaefer Shakedown. And she did, you know, it just started. So she started sharing this, like this info. But, you know, that little teaser that you did about, I was just wondering if I feel just because we have, I mean, one thing is Sarah and I both did go to vacation Bible school, and we'd always talked about doing some songs from that. But we have a connection way back. Just and I feel like when I saw the teaser you did for the podcast, your voice to me, it was so powerful, so strong. You've always been that, but you spoke such truth that so many people will not say. I mean, it's so crazy that it's not said. So that's the genius of you, Sarah. You say it, it connects with us all. I'm wondering if this time during the pandemic where you were working on all this, on these crafts, where you were just like, and also the times, was that something that emerged, this fire to speak truth, or you've always been saying, you
Well,
know,
thank you for saying all that and for asking that, because I actually had gone a little quiet with my opinions in the past few years online.
Oh, okay.
And that was because of the level of harassment that I was getting, especially when I talked about comedy.
Wow.
My own profession and area of expertise was what would fire up people the most. And there was just a couple incidents about 2 years ago that were just too much for me. And it was really playing hurting my mental health, and my anxiety levels
Oh,
were really bad. And so I felt,
that,
I've always felt like I want to speak out about the things I care about, because we have all these debates about who gets to do comedy and who is a good comedian versus who is a bad comedian, and all those debates. And I'm really passionate about that stuff. And I love it. I love talking about the business and like all
yeah,
that. But whenever I did, I would just kind of get sucked into this bullshit
yeah,
factory online, where I
yeah,
was just being used as a pawn in somebody else's grift. Look
yep.
at this feminist who wants to silence other comedians. You're not a
Wow.
real comedian. Just for
Mm-hmm.
saying stuff like, I think it's boring to book Louis C.K.
You know what?
I
This is
said it was boring. I didn't
that's
say you
all.
couldn't.
You just said it's boring.
Yeah, and like,
Yeah,
things like that. And then
yep.
I'd be getting harassed, rape threats for like a week, and it's just
Do-
like, I
um,
don't.
oh my God. I mean, I know, Allison Levy was on this show and had the similar scenario where she got quiet too. And she's actually sort of shifted her Twitter because of it and got
Yeah,
rape threats too. How
yeah, and
disgusting.
I found that when I stopped getting into it, the harassment stopped, which is unfortunate, because it's like, well,
Hmm.
it worked. You
It
silenced
worked.
me
Hmm.
on this one platform, and I
Yeah.
just needed to use it differently than I had been using it. So I felt a little pent up. And so my podcast is a place for me to speak more freely about stuff, because it is different. You
Yep.
can hear my voice, you can tell what I mean, even if you don't listen to the whole thing. That's
Yep.
your fault for not listening to the context of what I said. Twitter is just so flat, it flattens you out to just a side in an argument.
Hmm.
And then with the podcast, I'm doing these little audio sketches that is what I put online, and that's more comedy based.
Hmm.
And so that seems to be working for me to get my voice out there and speak a little more
Awesome.
honestly about stuff without. And also, I blocked a lot of uh
Yeah. Yep.
comedians. I blocked other comedians, which is something I've never done before.
You
Because
know what?
like, what if I saw them in the green room or whatever? Now I'm like, I don't fucking care.
No. I mean, you have to do what's right for you, and it's like
Yeah.
literally, it's like if you're walking around eggshells to make sure other people are okay, that's
Mhm.
that's not. I'm so proud of you. I'm so
Aw.
happy that you've made a space for
Yeah.
yourself. Like this is our space for that sort
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
like this is our space, and there are many because we're all involved in so many different spaces, not just showbiz, professional, whatever, art, and we don't get to just say everything we think. We don't until this.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it's, we
Hmm.
haven't performed in so long on a live stage, and that's not where I'm going to necessarily work out my opinions about stuff either. I'm going to
Yeah.
try to be funny. Whereas, I've needed a place to kind of be more public, after being so private for so long,
Hmm.
and
Oh,
wanting to hide a little. And that's been
oh,
helpful of just, and I think there's more to it, but and I don't need to get into it, but like, it just feels good to be out there again. And like,
yay!
Out there,
Oh,
I think that
Sarah.
out there in a way that you've definitely learned from the adversity that you articulated. And I think that, you kind of are finding a platform or using a platform in a way that's working for you. And kudos to
yeah,
that. I think that a lot of people, including myself, for lack of a better word, to struggle with the toxicity and the format of a lot of these social media platforms. And
yeah.
so I think
You
that we
feel like
could like
you're
literally talk
being,
about this for like
yeah,
ever, but yeah.
where you feel like you're being used by it
Yes,
instead of you
exactly.
benefiting from it, and you're just
Yep.
being taken by it. And like,
Yeah.
I've started to look at Twitter as a place for me to, like, a windowsill where I put, or like a little at the farmers market, that's my booth. Twitter
Hmm.
itself is not my work. My
Right.
tweets are not me or my work. It's where I
Yeah.
set my wares out in the public square for others. Now, some people use Twitter as like actually where
Yeah.
they put their jokes. The medium itself works really well for them, but it just wasn't working for me. And I would spend hours just trying to think of a funny tweet. And it's like,
No. No.
and then it would just end up pissing, and the stuff that goes viral is just you being angry about something.
Yeah.
Then, I think it can give you a false sense of what's working and what's not. And, you think, well, it did numbers, so it must be good. Well, what does numbers on Twitter is rage.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Yes. It's true.
Sometimes you got to put it out there, and that's great. But I just
I love that you just shared all that. That's so, I honestly didn't know what got you here to this place, and I love where you're at. So I'm sorry that you did face those difficult times.
I'm not alone.
But
I mean, it's normal
yeah,
on there.
yeah,
That's what
yeah,
everyone deals with. And it's like,
yeah,
some people can tolerate it better than others. And I just, coming through to the other side of it, I am in a place where I'm just like, I made a rule for myself. Like, I'm going to post these clips from my podcast. And if somebody has an argument about it, I'm not having that argument on Twitter.
Right.
no,
If you want to hear more about, I might respond to something, but it'll be in my podcast. I'm not going to get into these arguments anymore because it's just
no. What a waste of time.
and I was being used by other people who have podcasts with Patreons. I'm like, they're making money off me. I'm not making anything.
Yeah. I'm out.
No, I'm not helping you.
Well, I love the teaser. For those of you that have not, just click it on. I know it's on the Vault. It's on your IG, but it's also, it's
I've
all over the web.
Yeah. Whatever I've posted in the past couple of weeks is what I've got out there. I'm doing it all alone, like by myself. So I'm a little slow in getting it going and being like weekly, but that's part of the joy of doing it for free and not having like subscribers being like, where is it?
Right.
I pay you $1 a month.
Yes. Yes. And the magic of what we all do is that, like, literally, it's not the paycheck. It's actually, I mean, for me, that's I am a fan of people that just make art, and I know we all have to get paid somehow, but ultimately, what I love is stuff like you're doing a miniature comedy club and your own podcast where you speak your truth. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think also it's I've been talking a lot about, like, I can't wait to see the art that comes not about COVID. I really don't care. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some great stuff, but just
did you see Christian's Christmas ornament his aunt gave him?
Oh yeah, it's wonderful.
This is a COVID ornament that I
remember.
I think it's just this will be the one thing that I keep from COVID. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like it's like when you're old, being like, remember that?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I know.
Hopefully, I won't have two.
Right. No, but yeah, that I think that's we're seeing also the difference between artists and entertainers being more defined now because so much has been disrupted, and like I'm interested to see the art that comes from a time that was very, and I'm not one that subscribes to only good art only comes from pain. I don't believe in that. My best art is coming now when things are better.
Yep.
It's not during the pandemic. I was not able to really do much. So I'm interested to see the people who have been transformed by an experience and what they make now in the years to come. I think that'll be, we're going to see some cool stuff.
Yes.
I hear you.
I agree with
it might be
you.
really, really, really small.
Really tiny.
Tiny, cool
so
stuff.
Tiny. I can't wait. And someday in my life, I'm going to see it in real life. I can't wait. I'm excited about it. Well, Sara, we love you. I want to thank you for being with us.
Thank you, guys.
I want everyone. Her podcast is called the Schaefer Shakedown. It's on every platform.
Yeah.
And follow her on IG because you got to see the ha hole.
Yes.
Get in there.
Like it's in there.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we love you and thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
guys so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Stay crafty.
Because you're so crafty, Christian.
Thank you,
Oh my
Shanali.
God, that was so cool to hear about. I had no idea
I
what
know. That
the
was wow.
journey was,
Yeah.
and that journey is intense, and
Yeah. I
that's
think a
a
lot of
thing,
people
and
can
that's
relate.
a whole other conversation. But I love to call it showbiz, but comedy is also a specific journey, and
Hmm.
the relationships. Like I've had a different journey in music with friendships I've made than I've had in comedy, and I have fantastic friendships in both. But I think just the idea that usually in stand up it's one person all on their own.
Yeah.
It's not. It's really intense relative to being a band with other people.
Yeah, it's
You know,
different. It's intense in respect to
and your opinion.
what is community like
Yeah,
in when you're all kind of like in a kind of like a mano y mano, like it's only you. So I get what your
yeah,
point is. Like, what does collaboration look like? What does teamwork look like? What does community look like? And what does the status quo look like? And I think that, you know, what you speak to, what Sara was speaking to, and is like, yeah, it's super important. And I also think that her relationship to social media and that journey connects to a lot more people than, you know, than are talking
yeah,
about it. So,
yes,
but
yes.
speaking of music,
I
you've been busy too.
I have, and you know, I'm very much with Sarah in that I feel like um, things are happening now in terms of my creative headspace. I was really pretty paralyzed through the pandemic outside of doing our show together, but I did write a song, and it was really a healing song for all my friends during the pandemic. So let's do that before we go. First time
Cool.
I haven't done a song on this on the virtual show ever.
I not on the
So
virtual show. Yeah, I think it was the last time was like episode 42.
yeah, I think you're right.
So
So this is
I'm gonna put myself on mute.
okay, cool. This is called "I'll Be Your Therapy," and maybe let's see. I'm gonna cause let's see. Can I put myself in the spotlight just so that here we go. Okay, cool. All right. All right. And I'm gonna try to remember the lyrics, but maybe you are so serious. What villains have you read? The kings are furious. Stoners drop their heads. Swimming in a live stream, floating on a daydream, weeping with their trees. You are so serious, I'll be your therapy. Ooh, you're my spectacle, let me help you breathe. I'm still so curious, what do you make of me? You are so serious, waiting in the sand. I get delirious, your skeletons don't dance. Sitting on a thermal, break it to a cartoon, weeping in the trees. You are so serious, I'll be your therapy. Ooh, you're my spectacle, let me help you breathe. I'm still so curious, what do you make of me? Jesus get no respect, pushes on demand. There's nothing to erase his
Woo!
Thank you,
All
Sara.
right, that was a treat. We do not hear that from Shanali all the time on this
Hey,
show.
you know, I felt like this is a good time. We're getting unmasked. We're coming out of our pandemic. I mean, it's even scary to say that. How do we get back on?
You just have to go back and go into gallery view.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna do this, and then thank you, Christian, for explaining how this works. View, gallery view. Oh, he's professional, you guys. I am not, but we did have an amazing show. Justin, you want to come back here so we could say goodnight to everybody? Guys, that was called I'll Be Your Therapy, and it is on Spotify and, all the streaming, um, not streaming, music platforms. And it's recorded and it's got some cool, like psychedelic beats to it in the recorded version. So, and it's on Bandcamp. I have a Shanali Bomick Bandcamp. I'm doing it. I'm doing
Beautiful. You're
it.
doing it.
Rock and roll.
Justin, it looks like you've been drinking your simple drink a little bit more since the start of our show.
The thing. This is just the way my hair grows, you know.
It looks good, Justin.
That's
You
just
have
the
that
look of a young dad to be.
Yeah, that's right.
Dada, is that a dada look?
You know what? It's going to take a lot for Justin and I to not talk about chubby shorts. That's going to take a lot.
No, it's not. It's not going to take a lot at all. It's not going to take a lot at all.
Chubby shorts? What?
Chubby.
Justin,
don't.
Yeah, he was too.
Justin,
he was
missed
too
that.
trying to
the
figure
athletic
out.
shorts.
I was busy doing interning things. I don't know what I missed, but
yeah.
Oh well, we love you. You know what? We just need to thank our guests, especially Brandon Collins. See him Juneteenth, Drunk Black History at the Bell House live stream, and then Sarah Schaefer, the Schaefer Shakedown on iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. And you got to see the Ha Ha Hole. Got to go to our IG, Sarah Schaefer, and Christian. Love you.
Shanali,
Justin,
you
love
keep
you.
it real down in Nashville. You make sure that you make your mama proud. You
Thank
give a nice
you.
little hug for your papa.
Oh, I also want to thank my friend Wes Adams for lending me his home and
Is
the
he your
Wi-Fi.
imaginary friend right behind you?
Well,
that
he's
you're
not
saying
here,
hello
but that's
to?
his painting.
Oh,
there you go.
his painting.
He's on the porch because there's a delay.
Oh,
and,
it's so funny. They have porches in Nashville.
We got a porch.
Justin.
We got a dog. We got wine. Look, there he is. We got wine. He brought me another wine.
Oh, that's a mason jar full of wine. It looks like moonshine. Oh, my goodness.
He's going to say hi. Here's my moonshine friend. He's giving my moonshine. Here's Wes right there.
Hey, look at that. Oh, my God. I got the beard envy. Oh, my God. I got to start growing mine tonight.
I got to grow my beard. I got the beard envy. And Wes is also a superstar teacher. So, like he does it his own way. Look at him with that beard. And meanwhile, he's an all-star teacher in Nashville, Tennessee. So that's how we roll in Nashville, you guys. Come visit us. Y'all come back now.
On that note,
we love you. You guys stay safe. We'll see you. Have a happy spring, and we'll see you next month.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
next month. All right. Peace.
Bye. Bye.